I'm Ronnie, and you're listening to Clean With Me, the podcast where I walk you through cleaning your house step by step. When you clean along with this show, you'll get more done in less time so you can spend the rest of your day doing what matters most to you. Thanks for joining me. In today's episode, I'm going to talk you through cleaning your kitchen, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about cleaning motivation and how to muster up that little bit of motivation you might need right now to do your dishes and clean up your kitchen. So let's get right into the episode. It's time to gear up for your cleaning session. When you're cleaning the kitchen, you might want to put shoes on so that you don't feel the grit of those crumbs that we're going to sweep up later in the episode. Sometimes I like to clean in slides, but any shoes will do. Get some shoes on. And you're also going to want to take the trash out and reline the wastebasket because we're going to be throwing stuff away. And then when you're done doing that, of course, you're going to gather up dishes from around the house. So again, get some shoes on, take out the trash and reline it, and then gather up any dirty dishes from around the house and take them to the sink. And while you're doing that, I'll talk a little bit about cleaning motivation. When you're faced with a messy kitchen or just a messy house in general, you might be physically tired and you might even complain of some aches and pains. But what if you opened an envelope and found a surprise check you could spend on whatever you want? Or what if you just found out your best friend from out of state was in town and wanting to meet you for coffee? How fast would you spring into action to spend money or visit with somebody you haven't seen in a while? Now, I'm not saying that you aren't tired or that your back doesn't hurt, but I'm saying that the fact that you're physically tired is less of a problem than your lack of motivation. I was watching a video that talked about how when you do certain physical things, it can trick your brain into thinking you're excited to do something. And this would only work if you're alone because it'd be kind of weird to do in front of everybody. But if you think about how excited you're going to be after your kitchen's clean, how happy you're going to be with the final result, and kind of do a little happy dance, the same happy dance you would do if you got that surprise check or if you found out your best friend from out of state was coming to town. Sometimes actually just getting up and doing that little happy dance as if you were excited can help you get excited about the prospect of cleaning your kitchen. I'm not saying you're going to enjoy cleaning, but you might have an attitude that you get to clean instead of that you have to clean. Think about if you were cleaning to help someone else and you really wanted to do that for them, you wouldn't think of it as much as a chore. And that's another psychological trick that when you're cleaning, to kind of disassociate yourself. I always wonder if it's dissociate or disassociate. I don't know, but to kind of separate yourself from the process where you're not judging yourself. You want to get into a mode where you're not looking at the mess and feeling disappointed in yourself for letting it get that way. Don't do that. Having a sink full of dishes is not a personal failure. A lot of times if you kind of pretend that maybe you work as a housekeeper for a rich family and you're cleaning up their kitchen, or that you're cleaning the house of a sick friend or family member and you're excited to do it because you want to give them the gift of that clean house. And one of these might work better for you than the other. Whether you're pretending you work somewhere or you're pretending that you're doing it for someone else, think positively that you get to clean instead of you have to clean. That's the important part. By now, you've had time to gear up for your kitchen cleaning session. A while back, I timed myself on a day where I was facing a disaster, and I gathered up all of the dishes from around the house. I got the difficult items soaking, and then I pre-rinsed and loaded everything into the dishwasher and got it running. And this was on a really messy kitchen day. Your kitchen probably isn't even this messy. And I got that part done in 17 minutes. So even if that's all you do in this episode, you will have accomplished something. And if you tell yourself all you're going to do is wash the dishes, it's pretty easy to keep going after that. Just tell yourself you're going to gather up the dishes, you're going to wash them, and then the logical next step is that you're going to start wiping down surfaces, and the worst is going to be over and you're going to feel motivated. Okay, so by now I know you've already gathered up your dishes. There might be something that needs to get soaking before you move on to just pre-rinsing the easy stuff and loading it into the dishwasher, or for those of you who are hand washing, washing the easy stuff, the small stuff, the silverware, the plates, the cups, the bowls. Before you do that, check to see if something needs soaking. Okay, at my house, it's often the large skillet. I mean, our large, deep skillet gets a lot of use. We use it almost every night at dinner, and sometimes it sits for a while before it gets washed. If, we make dinner, we eat dinner, and then we go back to deal with that pan, and sometimes it sits longer than it should have, and then it needs to be soaked. So get anything difficult soaking. A lot of times when you fill up the sink to soak that one pan, you might see a dirty spoon or a fork that looks like it needs a soak, and you can drop that into the hot, soapy water that you partially filled your sink with to fill that pan. Maybe you're soaking a pan on the countertop, or maybe it went into the sink. Put those difficult items in there. Okay, you know what difficult items you have. For me, it's usually that large skillet and maybe a spoon and fork that I found in a bedroom that had dried on food on it or something. So get those items soaking, and then you're going to pre-rinse your first dishwasher load. Hopefully your only dishwasher load, or your first sink load. Just be working on dishes, whatever that means for you. And you might need to put away some clean stuff first. You might need to empty the dishwasher before you can reload it. Or you might also have a drying rack to empty. Just be working on washing your dishes, whatever that means for you right now. And I'll keep talking while you do that. I don't like to get too specific while you're doing dishes because everybody's in a different situation with what they need to wash. And of course, if you get your dishes done before I start talking about it, just move on to cleaning the surfaces of your kitchen from the top down. In those sessions where you're ahead of the game and you go into your kitchen in one of these episodes without a backlog of dishes, those are the times to do lots of deep cleaning tasks. Maybe even clean out your junk drawer, okay? Or dust your fixtures, ceiling vents, and things like that. I recently got a microfiber duster that's on a pole, and it's perfect for dusting things on the ceiling, like your ceiling fans and fixtures and whatnot. And then after you dust those vents and fixtures and fans, you can knock out any cobwebs from the corner. But I'll bring that up again a little later as a bonus task. Most of you have dishes to do, so be working on that. And I mentioned your back hurting or maybe your feet hurting. Sometimes The reason we hate doing dishes is that we don't want to stand in one place. Because of that, I give you permission to kind of move around the kitchen, maybe wash something, and then remove an item from the countertop and put it away. Like if you have clutter on your countertops, if you absolutely despise standing at the sink, or it hurts your feet, it hurts your back to stand in one place for too long, it's okay to kind of flit around the kitchen as long as you don't completely leave the room and lose focus. Okay, so sometimes when I'm doing dishes, I'm also combining the task of clearing off the countertop. That's just an idea for some of you. If you tend to focus more on foot pain or back pain when you're standing still or get antsy, I get it. Okay. So in general, you want to stick with one task at a time. But in the kitchen, because I kind of hate that part where I'm standing at the sink, I give myself permission to go back and forth from putting things away on the countertops or maybe wiping a surface and doing dishes. But the dishes are our main focus right now. So let's try to get those done as quickly as possible, because getting the dishes out of the way first helps you build momentum and can lead to you getting your whole kitchen clean and in some cases even your whole house. That time when I timed myself in just 17 minutes, my dishwasher was running and everything else was at least soaking. And I had done some other straightening as well. By the way, in case you're new to the show, Clean With Me podcast is designed to talk you through cleaning your house on those days when you need extra motivation or just some entertainment to keep your brain stimulated. Or maybe I'm already a part of your cleaning routine and you listen to me almost every time. I'm honored. I'm glad I can help in this small way. By the way, if you're getting a lot done during this episode and you're looking forward to longer episodes where you clean your whole house, I have done some of those in the past on this regular show, but I do way more of those longer episodes on my bonus channel, Clean With Me Unplugged. If you visit cleanwithmepodcast.com or you look at the links in the episode description, there are multiple ways you can support the show financially and unlock bonus episodes. Hopefully you're plugging away on dishes and getting those knocked out. Earlier today, I was kind of tired and putting off cleaning my kitchen because I thought I had a lot of dishes to do, but in reality, I was mistaken because once I got that large skillet soaking and a fork and a spoon, that's why I used that example. It's literally what I just did. I loaded the dishwasher and there was plenty of extra space in the dishwasher, and I thought, this can't be everything. I went through the house trying to find more, but really there was just a lot of clutter accumulating on the countertops, and it wasn't one of those times where I cleared off the countertops before doing dishes. So I wrongly assumed that the task of loading the dishwasher was going to take way longer than it did. And often we do make those wrong assumptions. A lot of times when we procrastinate, it's because we assume a task is going to take longer or be more difficult than it actually is. So one of my goals of this show is just to get you up and moving and get you to just jump right in and do it, just get it done. But a lot of times you're going to be pleasantly surprised. And I think what it was, I've been out of town for a few days. That's why I didn't do a bonus episode on Saturday. If you're a financial supporter, you know that I try to do 3 to 4 bonus episodes per month. And so Saturday was the one I just didn't get done because I had just gotten back from a little mini vacation. My mom flew me out to California to go to Disneyland with her and my sister. And you know how it is the day after you get back, you're just kind of relaxing and spending time with your family. So I did not end up doing the bonus episode, but there'll be another one soon. All that to say this, there was a lot of clutter on the countertop because nobody was there to really remove it. My husband had been washing dishes, but wasn't really focused on how many items were on the countertop. So when I just saw some visual clutter, I assumed that there were more dishes to do than there actually were. But I just thought that I was seeing a disaster kitchen when really I was just seeing a cluttered countertop and there were only a few dishes to wash. By the way, cleaning along with one of these episodes does not have to be an all or nothing proposition. If all you do during the episode is wash your dishes or wash one sink load and get another sink load soaking, or load your dishwasher and leave a couple things to soak, I encourage you not to leave anything to soak past the end of the episode. But if you do, no judgment here. As long as you get something done while listening, you've made some progress. And some days we have a low mood and low energy. The important thing is that you do what you can. Just keep moving during this episode, no matter how slowly, and chip away at what needs to be done in the kitchen. And then maybe tomorrow you'll be ready to do a deeper clean. Sometimes getting caught up on dishes can be the first step if you've fallen into a slump. Or if you're like me, you only have a few dishes and you really just need to remove clutter from your countertops so that you can feel relaxed in your kitchen again. Those of you who had dishes to do are probably almost done with the dishes. But again, it's okay if you're doing dishes for the entire episode, but I'm going to move on in a minute as if you were done with the dishes. So if you're trying to keep up, let's wrap it up. Let's scrub and rinse those last few dishes or start that dishwasher. Or if you've already started the dishwasher, let's wash that item that you had soaking. More often than not, things don't need to soak even an hour or overnight. Often soaking that large skillet or other dirty pan just during the time it takes you to pre-rinse everything and load the dishwasher, or to wash a sink load or two, can be enough time to easily finish washing that pan. Whenever possible, you want to get down to dish zero. That way you're not operating in a constant state of being behind or feeling behind. Okay? But don't beat yourself up if you do need to leave something soaking. If you're really procrastinating about washing that one pan that's soaking, do everything else in your kitchen. I like to be productive when I'm procrastinating. If there's something I really don't want to do as far as cleaning, but I still get up and clean, I might end up doing things I wouldn't normally do. So let's talk about our bonus chore for today. I alluded to it earlier, and it's dusting your fixtures, your light fixtures, your vents, and then the upper corners of your kitchen. Like I said, I do that using a microfiber dusting tool that's on a pole. Okay. I recently got that new tool, and now I don't have to use a dust mop to dust my fan. But sometimes it's the little things in your kitchen that are making it look a little dirty and you don't even realize it. Because of course you're doing your dishes, wiping down countertops, cleaning your sink. But when's the last time you've dusted the vent on your ceiling or checked the corners for cobwebs? A lot of times we get blind to these things until we're expecting company. Something I did recently when expecting company was power washed my sliding glass door from the outside. I mean, I like to watch YouTube videos of people cleaning for motivation, but when you see them cleaning their sliding glass doors, they're super pristine and they're just spraying some glass cleaner and then wiping it down with a microfiber cloth. But if you have dogs and you don't have a perfectly manicured backyard, your dogs are actually getting their feet dirty, you might need to power wash the outside of your sliding glass door and then scrub it with like a car washing brush. That's what I did as a preliminary step before even thinking about spraying the glass cleaner and wiping the sliding glass door with a microfiber cloth. Some of you might be going, this is a kitchen episode. Why are you mentioning that? Well, my sliding glass door is off of the kitchen. Yours might not be. But that's one of your bonus chores in the kitchen, is to give that sliding glass door some love, whether it's just cleaning the inside of it with a glass cleaner and microfiber cloth, or it's going outside and power washing it with the hose and possibly even a scrub brush. Obviously, you would need to still clean it with glass cleaner and a microfiber cloth afterward. But again, these tasks are not all or nothing, especially if you're not down to dish zero and you have something soaking that you're planning to get back to. You know, you don't have to do every deep cleaning task in your kitchen. Or if you're absolutely done with dishes, maybe you do, want to go deeper with your cleaning session. And by the way, you can always attach your microfiber cloth to a mop, especially it works especially well with a Swiffer mop, where you kind of shove it in those little holes to attach it, and use that after spraying glass cleaner on a window or sliding glass door. And of course, other bonus tasks could be cleaning a baseboard, wiping out a windowsill. But I wanted to mention dusting the fixtures and vents, because I don't talk about it very often, but it's something I did recently. And a dusty vent can make your house look a little dirty. It just can. And people notice things like this subconsciously. It might also be time to wipe down your cabinets, starting with the upper cabinets. Another important touch that can make your kitchen look a lot cleaner is cleaning your appliance fronts. I usually do that with a glass cleaner and a couple paper towels. You could use a microfiber cloth on that, but I'm not as picky about my appliance fronts. Like with mirrors and windows, I try to use microfiber, but with appliance fronts, I'm often using paper towels and a glass cleaning spray or multi-surface spray. Don't forget, when you're done with your dishes, it's a good idea to put out a clean dishcloth and towel. Dishcloth meaning a dish rag. Some people call it a dishcloth, some call it a dish rag. New day, new rag. So you always want to be kind to your future self and prepare your kitchen. Or it might not be your future self. It might be someone else who's going to clean the kitchen next, and you don't want your kid or your spouse to grab a dirty rag to do dishes with. And I do use sponges and scrubbing tools and things like that, but I also have a dish rag handy that I like to use on some of the dishes. And even when I don't use the rag on the dishes, like if I'm using a two-sided sponge, like a Scrub Daddy or a Scotch-Brite that has a rough side and a soft side, I still like to use that dishcloth to wipe down the countertops and the sink and the area behind the sink and the faucet area. Okay. But ideally, you're going to wring that out and take it to the laundry room when you're done, and then maybe hang a fresh, clean, dry cloth over the sink handle. So maybe you've been dusting upper surfaces, wiping down cabinets, cleaning appliance fronts. Now it's time to wipe down your countertops, your stovetop, which might need some extra scrubbing. You might need to remove burners and do some extra scrubbing there. And then clean out your sink and your faucet, and don't forget the area around the faucet and behind it. Another thing you want to pay attention to in a kitchen is the walls. Now, I grew up in a family where my parents were constantly reminding us not to touch the walls. Anywhere in the house, we were not allowed to touch the walls. Also, we frequently moved, and we always moved into brand new houses that were new builds. So our walls were always super clean. However, in the kitchen, everybody wipes down walls. Even in a new house where you're not touching walls, the walls in your kitchen need to be wiped down because of food splatter, especially in the backsplash area above your stove. So don't forget to wipe down your walls when you're wiping everything else down. And please teach your kids not to touch the walls because other people will be irritated. Another pet peeve I have is when a kid eats something really greasy and then they touch all the doorknobs and get them greasy. But yeah, using a microfiber duster or whatever tool you have on hand, a dust mop or whatever else, on light fixtures and vents can really make a difference. You may not look up very often, but there's just something about the walls and ceilings and all these little items being clean that makes the house appear so much cleaner. And the appliance fronts are also a big deal. Sometimes when we're in survival mode and we haven't had company in a while, we fall into the trap of wanting to do the bare minimum and just keeping the house functioning. And that is important. Obviously, just keeping your house functioning and sanitary, doing dishes, doing laundry, wiping down the counters and stovetop and sink. That's great, but by not wiping down the appliances, the kitchen just doesn't have as clean of a look. Even if it's just fingerprints and nothing that dirty, your house will look so much newer if you pay attention to those little things like the appliance fronts and the vents and fixtures on your ceiling. And if you haven't already done so, of course, clear the clutter off your counters. But I've been talking about wiping surfaces, so maybe you've already done that. And when you're wiping down your countertops, don't forget to clean your small appliances. Those can also make your kitchen look dirty if you have fingerprints all over your toaster or your ice maker, if you have a countertop ice maker, or your coffee maker. Is your coffee station in order? I died the other night. My husband made tacos and, put out all the little dishes of different ingredients to go on the tacos. And he's like, okay, the taco station's done. And I'm like, you mean the taco bar? But with coffee, I call it a coffee station. And of course, after you've wiped down your countertops, given your stove a scrub and dried that and everything, often I'm using an abrasive sponge or a scrub brush to clean the stovetop, and then I wipe it dry afterward. But after you've done all that stuff, all of those obvious things, countertop, stovetop, sink, don't forget the lower cabinets. Sometimes we focus on the upper cabinets because they're in our line of vision, but you might have stuff dripping on the fronts of your lower cabinets or lots of fingerprints that are more than just fingerprints. They're food prints. I don't know what you're dealing with, but especially if you have little ones, your lower cabinets could look messy and your drawers. So let's wipe the fronts of those. And we're running out of time for this episode. So after the episode, I encourage you to put on a couple of your favorite songs and sweep that kitchen floor and maybe mop it, or maybe just spot mop it, or maybe this is just a day that you need to sweep. If you clean up any sticky spills immediately, your floor won't be sticky and you'll be able to just sweep on most days. Okay? When we're mopping our floor, it's not to get rid of some sticky juice spill. We deal with that immediately. We mop them to get them sanitized and shiny again. And another reason to mop that I don't talk about very often is when you know you're going to mop, or the person who's sweeping knows you're going to mop, they do a more thorough job. Okay, so knowing that you need to get your kitchen mop ready will cause you to do a more thorough job of sweeping. I hope you got a lot done during this episode. Special thanks to my financial supporters who support the show either on Patreon, Spreaker, Apple Podcasts or Patreon via Spotify to unlock those Clean With Me Unplugged episodes. I don't expect anyone to support the show financially, but I know you'll benefit from those extra episodes, and I sure appreciate it when someone does sign up for bonus content. But even just listening to these regular episodes helps me. So please be sure to click follow or the plus sign or subscribe on whichever platform you're listening on so that you don't forget to keep listening to these episodes. I don't want you to fall off the wagon. I want the downloads, and you need to keep your house clean. So be sure to follow this podcast. One last comment I wanted to make. If all else fails, if you are a person who uses a dishwasher and you're letting so many dishes pile up that they don't even all fit into the dishwasher and you feel like you just can't get out of that cycle, consider hand washing dishes after every meal and see if that works better for you. Because a lot of times hand washers tend to do dishes as they use them and not let them pile up. Of course, there's also the method where you pre-rinse items, you put them directly into the dishwasher, you run the dishwasher in the evening, and then you empty it first thing in the morning. But always consider reevaluating your current system if you're perpetually in a rut. But a lot of us have our ideal system that we do on our best days, and then sometimes dishes still pile up, and that's normal, okay? A sink full of dishes to wash is normal. So don't beat yourself up about that. Happy cleaning, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.